This week, we show you how to record better footage.
I'm Kirstie.
And I'm Josh.
Let's go. Our first tip may sound really simple, but just read the camera manual. If you're going out on shoots, be sure to take it with you because it's full of super important information and it'll really help you out if you get into a tight spot.
Tip number 2 is never use digital zoom. It's really poor quality. It actually doesn't have any more data there. It just zooms into the data, just like you can do on your computer in post. So if you are going to do it in post. Never use it on your camera. Optical zoom is the way forward. The ISO or gain level of your camera is really important, and you need to know what the native value for this is. So look that up on Google or check out the manual. Once you know it, you kind of want to stay with that the whole time. Yes, when it's nighttime and you're outside, you can boost it up and you'll get a grainy image. But you're actually much better off just adding lighting into that scene if you possibly can and keeping the ISO at the native value.
A camera lens can only focus on one specific distance. The aperture allows you to define how much of that scene in front or behind appears to be in focus. In other words, a wider aperture has a shallower depth of field and a narrow aperture has a wider depth of field.
Lenses actually have fixed limits on the width of the aperture, so you may find that your kit lens doesn't really cut it when it comes to doing shallow depth of field. There's loads of fantastic lenses on the market for under $100 that allow you to have a really wide aperture and do beautiful shallow depth of field shots.
Frame rate. You may have heard that films are shot at 24 frames a second, so you might be trying to achieve this, but don't worry, your camera's going to produce probably 25 or 30 frames a second in progressive, and that's absolutely fine for what you need it for.
Shutter speed is also something to consider. As you ramp up the shutter speed, you'll reduce motion blur, and you may want this effect, but normally there's a great rule of thumb. Just make the shutter speed double the frame rate. So if you're shooting 25 frames a second, shutter speed's 50. If you're shooting 30 frames a second, shutter speed's 60. Lastly, formats and resolution. It's very likely that whatever you're recording on is now saving as MP4 files. And while these aren't the best, they are pretty good. So don't worry about that. Use MP4. When it comes to resolution, 1080p is the way to go. You may have options of 720p, you may have 4K or UHD. 1080p is what your TV's doing, it's what your PlayStation's doing, it's what Blu-rays are doing. 1080p, full HD, it's the way to go.
So there you go. We really hope that those tips will help you record some better footage. We are here every week, so do remember to subscribe.
And if you have any other comments or suggestions, do post them below or hit us up on Twitter.
Bye.